So welcome to another MTDCNC podcast on the road with MTDCNC, which is broadcast every Friday evening at 6 o'clock. I did make the mistake of calling it On the Run with MTD, I think 2 weeks ago, so I have to apologise for that. This is the show where we talk about everything we've been up to this week, the technologies that we've seen, what we've learnt, who we've seen, and we also touch on where we're going to be in the week ahead of us and have a little bit of fun, if we can, depending on who I'm joined by along the way. I like to mix this up as well, so today I've got Lindsay Vickers with us. Hi Lindsay, how you doing?
Hello, yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good, and Gio with us as well. Are you keeping all right, mate?
Very well, thank you. Not too bad.
Good. There's been lots of stuff going on this week. We've had an unforgettable live show for Starrag, which we'll talk about. We also went to Rimstock on Monday to look at how alloy wheels are made. We've been to Arnold Wragg. We've been to Scotland to Abbey Tool and Gauge. We've also been, or Lindsay's been up to Huddersfield. And you've had Mr. Mike Harris here from Bison in for Technical Corners as well this week. So loads to come in today's show. But as always, to start with this, Lindsay, are you keeping okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm very happy. I am keeping busy. You've got me going up and down the country, but it's fantastic.
And you're looking forward to the weekend? This week it's going to rain once again. It's going to rain.
Yeah, but no.
Right,
I'm going to disagree with this. Right, the iPhone app says rain all the time, and you look at your iPhone app. However, if you go onto the other apps like BBC and other companies, it's actually quite nice. And
other apps are available.
Yeah, other apps are available. But it's not as bad as, don't be negative, don't be drab. We're going to see some sunshine.
Well, you said the same. You said on Sunday you actually went out. It was going to rain all day where I was on Sunday, but you said it was actually sunny for you all day. You managed to get out with the boys.
Yeah.
And I also heard you had a parents' evening last week. Colin mentioned on last week's show you passed everything with flying colours.
Yeah,
apparently.
I was really impressed with him. And yeah, we thought it was going to rain all day Sunday because of our Apple app. And we were really surprised. I went out for a jog Sunday morning. It's absolutely beautiful. So I got back home. I says, Nikki, get the boys. We're going out. And we just went out and made the most of it. And it was just such a bonus.
We had a barbecue.
Lovely, really nice.
We had a barbecue outside.
I must live in the wrong place. I mean, with your Italian blood, Gio, you must not like this sort of cold and damp weather. You must prefer the sunshine and
I get down in the winter months. I don't like it. I've got to admit. I mean, I'm happier when it's sunny. I feel happy. I feel alive when it's sunny. The winter months are a bit dreary, aren't they?
I've got a saying. It's a bit rude, but I think when the weather's nicer, I think life is easier the less clothes you wear. And I'm not talking about nudies or anything like that. But don't you just find, without having to go out the house and put like a hat on and gloves and everything like that, and just put a pair of shorts and a little top on, life is easy. You get places quicker.
Well, I used to know a guy that never bought a coat because he just gets through winter. He's like, I don't want the hassle of having a coat because I'm only going to use it for 6 months of the year. But I bet he's not happy at the moment. Gio, on Italy, all right, I'm going to ask you a few facts because you have got Italian heritage. What's the population of the country?
I'd say probably, 15 million.
15? What do you think?
I think it's more than that. Goodness, we're 66 million in the UK. So I'd have said about 35?
60 million.
Is it really?
60 million, yeah. And where was the first pizza invented? In which town?
I'd say Napoli.
Oh, Naples.
Yeah.
And would you believe they have the lowest birth rate in the world, with 23% of the community in Italy being over 65 years of age?
Yes, I did know
Not
that.
Not much procreation happening there.
there.
Right, okay, let's start with where we started this week. So we were at Rimstock on Monday. Lindsay, it was a brilliant visit, wasn't it? We learned so much about how alloy wheels are made. I've never even thought about how an alloy wheel was made until I got there. But to see the process that it goes through from start to finish was terrific, wasn't it?
It was really good.
It was really good, yeah. We had 2 or 3 of those on the day.
It was tiring, but really good. I'm sorry. No, it was. It was fast. I've got that written down. No, it was brilliant. And to see so many different varieties, I couldn't get over it. And the one thing that I could not believe is the fact that it comes from a 10-inch billet. So, a normal 10-inch billet, and the processes that goes through, they're all very, I've forgotten the word now, vertically integrated. Didn't forget it. So they've got their forge, they heat it. So you've literally all on one site within 2 kind of facilities where you go from downstairs to upstairs. You can see this billet change in each process into a finished wheel. It is fascinating. And we learnt also about the spokes and how different depths of spokes and the science behind it, different depths of spokes, the more spokes, you have to change the spokes because it has to hold the integrity of the rim. So we saw not only the designs, they look sexy, but there's a lot of science and technology behind them.
And it was truly, truly fascinating to think. When we went to this company, I thought to myself, I'm not quite sure what we're going to get out of today, because we go to quite high profile businesses, and often they say, look, do you know what, you can't film the part, but you can't film the process either. And you sort of like, I really want to get the message out to how these things are made. But it was to see those little sawn blanks go from a slug almost into an alloy wheel. Halfway through the process, it's called a pancake, right? So it basically goes into 540 degrees. This slug goes in, and when it comes out, it's then pressed, isn't it, into like a pancake. And then, have you ever seen a metal spinning machine?
Yes.
Do you know where they form things? Then that happens then for the wheel. Yeah. Then what happens is it goes onto a vertical lathe where they rough turn all the outside diameter and the inside bore. Then it comes off of that and goes into the milling operation, which in this instance, the reason we were there, they've just purchased 3, not 1 or 2, but 3 Matsuura horizontal machining centres with integrated pallet systems, and then that's where all the milling is done. Once that's finished, it then comes off of the mill, it goes back onto a vertical lathe for just a very sort of lick up, doesn't it, of the final OD and the ID. We know the answer
doesn't finish there.
Oh, it's
because it goes off to get painted,
and
then you can have like diamond finishing or different colours. There's like over 100 different finishes you can have. So that that's not the final process,
and it's also balanced as well at the end of the process. But the machining of the internal bore of the wheel, which goes on the axle, what do you think that would be machined to? What tolerance?
Well, I know the answer to that now, unfortunately. So probably you better give the answer to that, Paul.
It's 50 microns. Yeah. 50 microns. I thought it'd be tighter than that, but it's still brilliant, fantastic visit. Also on Monday, a big shout out to Paul from Arnold Wragg, Paul Brunton. I know that big into the aerospace sector. Some really good news coming out of his company. That aerospace is beginning to pick up again. They make fasteners and various other componentry. And I know every business that's been involved in various industries, certainly the aerospace sector, has really found it hard in the last year, but things seem to be picking up on that front. Just an interesting fact as well, where we talk about that. I did find some things out about the aircraft industry this week. Now, how much do you think a Boeing 747 weighs?
I don't have any idea. I know it's got...
I'd say, it's...
Now, you did really badly on the last
150 tonne?
Okay, well, it's 180 tonnes, a Boeing 747. But this is what I learned, that aircraft seats 366 people. Okay, so you've got 180 tonne aircraft, which seats 366 people. The new Dreamliner 787, and this is where you begin to see my train of thought, actually weighs only 115 tonnes, okay, but has a carrying capacity of 323 people. So the reason that those aircraft are now reaching further afield is because they're much lighter and much efficient. I know I'm talking about something that's very obvious here, but it just goes to show that these aircraft manufacturers, a lot of the Dreamliner isn't made out of aluminium or titanium. They actually print a lot of the parts, so it's a lot lighter. So therefore, the aircraft can reach further and still almost accommodate as many people.
But what about logistics? What about, are they trying to open up areas so you can get logistics and taking parts from different countries to countries or anything? Is that a part of the consideration, or is it just commercial?
Well, I'm not sure. Actually, I'm sure all of these aircraft, they rip the seats out and they use them to carry goods all around the world. Someone like DHL may in fact now buy Dreamliners in order to ship their parts. But the sort of silver lining on this, which I've found really fascinating, was that an A380, the A380s, which are now been taken out of production, they actually have 525 seats on them. So there's a lot more capacity. However, they weigh 589 tonnes. Wow. So you think how much fuel and how inefficient that sounds. We talk about efficiency on machines and stuff. It's just comparing the three different aircraft. So anyway, that's just...
I was reading something just to add to that as well. I don't know the facts and figures, but it's interesting when you see how much fuel and everything an aircraft uses, and they say it can, one trip in one of these aircrafts or something can fuel like a farm for 11 years and stuff like that. Yeah, I was reading something, on the social media that pops up, and you just think, well, where does that have to happen? Does that, fueling a farm, and that then, that farm will feed thousands and thousands of people over 11 years, and yet that's just for one trip.
Yeah.
Like, bonkers.
But you just think if it was down to Geo, none of this would exist anyway, would it?
Yeah, because
he won't even get on a plane. But it is why now the flights can go from Sydney to New York, from London to Perth. These aircraft, you don't have to stop anymore because they're so efficient. Anyway, that's a bit of a sidestep there. Yeah, so Arnold Wragg was on Monday. Now, Tuesday, we're going to talk about this live event that Starrag had here that we did at the office. They wanted to promote their new Hecate machine, H65, horizontal 4-axis machining centre. Did you watch?
Yes, the beginning.
The beginning?
Yeah, the beginning. No, I have a 3-year-old, and Tuesdays are my day off, so it's very difficult when she's pulling at me. But it was quite interesting, and I saw the first comments coming in about people saying, where's this going to sit in the marketplace? What I liked about it, and what made it a really easy watch from an MTD perspective, is actually someone explaining it, then it coming back here and actually seeing the machine in action. I think that's really, really important for people to see the applications and exactly where it sits in the market.
It's always hard to try and deliver a live message from here because it's quite a static environment. There's not chips flying everywhere, and I think that was the great thing about this event. There was a little bit of both. There was quite technical discussions, but at the same time we cut to the Germans. And by the way, this is actually on our YouTube channel now. There was a morning session and an afternoon session. You can find it on our YouTube channel, or in fact on LinkedIn or Facebook, where we streamed it live. It did get thousands of watches. And the retention of the watch was actually over 15 minutes, which is pretty impressive for a live show. So as I say, if you're interested in horizontal machining, these machines, I'll let you watch the program for more technical detail, but what I can say is they've got quite a big capacity. They're very fast. They're built to deliver, economically, very, very powerful, and a great addition to Starrag's portfolio, especially if you're looking at high-speed machining on exotic materials, but aluminiums as well, because they do a lot of different spindles. So, and also on Tuesday, Colin was at Desman Engineering. Now, this is a company that I know we visited just before or just after lockdown. This is a business that as you move north, you always find heavier machining, don't you? And there's a great example there. They've got Toshiba vertical lathes. They've got Huachon sort of 15-inch chuck machines. They've also got a lot of vertical lathes. And I mean, why do you think people use these verticals? Because they haven't got big muscles in them. But it's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gravity fall away.
Gosh.
But it is true. And when
Desmond will be on the phone.
But it is true. The vertical lathe is something I think in this country is not sold as frequently as it should. But by the very nature.
I think that now that you've got vertical lathes with milling capability, there's definitely more applications that lend themselves to a vertical lathe than meets the eye, really. Yeah, I agree.
Big machine shop with Leadwell machines as well, working a lot in the rail, and I believe they're working in the oil and gas and the aviation sector. All reports say, back from Colin, who visited, that that's a company that's doing very well at the moment and very busy, so that's always good to hear. Next up, Abbey Tool and Gauge. Joe and Ian travelled together all the way up to Scotland.
Oh, I know.
Scotland. 7 hours in.
They could eat in a restaurant.
I don't know how that works. How does that work? So the rules are different.
The rules are different up there. So I think he was very, very excited about this, Ian was, because it was quite a long journey. He was like, I can actually go out and eat inside food like this.
He won't get much if Joe's there, though, will he? Depends on what's on the menu, doesn't it? I'm sure he's listening to this. But I know they had... Joe's lost a stone as well, would you believe, in the last... He was telling me today.
He's doing
lost
well.
A stone.
I was going to mention...
In his back garden. I'm sorry. I just know what you're like.
He has lost a stone, and we joke, but we talk together about, we both use this app which you can basically, it plots your BMI loss, it plots your body fat, it does all of that. And when when we were comparing today, I said, what's your BMI? And his BMI is still slightly higher than mine, which is a good thing, but he really is on a mission. He's lost
well done to both of you.
Thank you very much.
You're going to slip through a drain soon.
but the story was Abbey Tool and Gauge about using Rocole's products in order to make their machining more efficient, but the ultimate aim was to basically save money, and that's what's happened here. They reckon that they're saving somewhere between £20,000 and £30,000 a year by changing to Rocole's fluids. What experience have you got on that front, Gio?
I think that coolant can reduce cost per part, so it does that in many ways. So kind of increasing tool life longevity is one of the main aspects of that, because people don't realise, or it's overlooked, that the cutting fluid is the thing that gives your cutting tools greater longevity, but not only that, better surface finish, and when you're looking to run overnight and stuff like that as well, when you're automating, again, you need that confidence that the cutting tools are not going to break or burn out, for example.
But the interesting thing is that the product that they purchased actually is more expensive per litre than some of their competition, but the efficiency of the product is so much more. The savings are made. So you think when you hear of someone saying I'm saving £20,000 or £30,000, it's because they're buying something that's cheaper. But no. the cheapness, call it, or the cost comes in the value of the product, doesn't it?
I'll back that up as well. A&M EDM in Birmingham, they said it was £20,000 saving instantly.
A year.
Same product.
Same
a yearly,
product. It was Rocal. I believe
20,
so.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, forgive me. Or is that instant saving? I don't know. There was also something to do with the fact that it's better on their operators as well. They were so happy with it. Literally over the moon with it.
And it extends beyond that as well to the life of the machine. From a maintenance perspective, if you've got good quality product, you've got less wear on guideways, on linear rails, on everything that happens in the machine. So, and I know that Abbey Tool and Gauge up in Roxburgh is a very big company. In fact, one of Scotland's largest manufacturers. So, some exciting stuff to come out of there. Wednesday, you went to Huddersfield. Lindsay, tell us all about that.
Yeah. Chris and I went up to Huddersfield. We went to a lovely company and met a lovely gentleman called Mark Kelly, who I nicknamed Willy Wonka. I'll tell you why in a moment.
Reason?
I'll tell you why. And the company's called Fleming Seals and Polymers. I think it's a company that's been around since 1911, I think he said. But he bought the company a few years ago. And he's transformed it. He's done really, really well. And recently he's looked at buying a vertical machining centre, to which he did a lot of research. And he looked at companies in the UK, unbranded machines, Japanese machines as well. And then he ended up going with a Herco. And he is over the moon. The operator is operating 3 different machines. And he said by far the Herco's program and software and everything is just the easiest in terms of, like, even just down to the drop down menus and stuff. He goes, it's just easy, like, it's in the nicest way possible. It's making my life so much easier as an operator. And another thing that really sold it to him, which fascinates me, is so he's making polyurethane parts. He's also cutting metal. They're making all sorts of injection molding, but he made this part and it was so slim, like it was microns, it was bonkers out of this polyurethane material. So it's a little ring and it's really, really, really slim. And other parts very similar. But he found that the Herco was the best machine to make it on. And because he's after making small batches, what they did is Herco got a bar puller.
Oh, okay.
As one of the tools, instead of him having to have a
bar feed.
A bar feed.
Oh, hang on. So it's got was it a lathe or a vertical machining centre you were talking about?
Sorry, did I say vertical?
Yes, okay.
My apologies.
Yeah.
Sorry,
they look the
that
same.
was one of the machines. No, sorry, it was a lathe. My apologies. So let's backtrack.
Was it a TM10 or TM?
TM8i.
Okay, yeah.
So my apologies. So he's got this bar puller to pull this through. So instead of getting the bar feed, it saved him space, and then the bar puller just comes in because he's working on small batches anyway. Just leaves it running and running and running because they're only very, very slim parts that he's making, and he's just like, I'm just winning at this. He is over the moon with this machine. And just to add to that, because I'm talking a lot, but he's got a Citizen sliding head machine, absolutely loves it. He loves the fact that, you know, you can do large quantities, large batch work. But what he's now thinking is, I'm going to do small batch work and use my location here in the UK as his niche in terms of saying, well, I can't always compete with places like China and Europe and different places.
What, Huddersfield?
Huddersfield.
That's as bad as Nuneaton.
Worse than Nuneaton.
I think more the UK location. But that's what his niche is, and it's working for him. And they have grown the company. I can't quite remember the exact stats, but within just 3 years from where they were 3 years ago. So they are over the moon with their recent purchases.
Okay, get onto the good bit. Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka. So he invents different parts for. He himself is a bit of an engineer and a bit of an entrepreneur. So he invents different parts. He's doing something for nozzles, and he's creating. But they're all colourful. So when you're in there, he was saying like it is a bit of a messy process, and it is like there was loads of colourful different plastics everywhere, and it literally was like we walked into a chocolate factory. I'm going to tell you one more product that he makes as well, down to do with sewage, and it's like this big metal ball, and encased in polyurethane is this ball. So they're really, really heavy, big balls, right, that go into the sewage pipes. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but it's one of his products. At the end of the day, it's engineering.
Like a ball cock thing that goes in the top of the toilet.
No, yes, but on a major scale. So when all of the waste goes down, one of these big bad boy balls goes down after it, and then it never comes back up. So thank Mark Fleming.
So you can't, so it's not recyclable, it's not used.
No, it's because it's so heavy, and the power of it pushes it all the dirt and the rubbish and the beep through, and then it never comes back up the waste pipes. So thank Mark Kelly, at Fleming Seals and Polymers for all of our sewage solutions.
Brilliant. Okay, that's what Willy Wonka. Well, what I would add to that is the turn-in side of Herco's product portfolio is becoming as popular now as their vertical machining centres, and I don't want to take anything away from the machine, because they're good workhorse machines, predominantly in years gone by, very good tool room machines, but now production machines as well. But that control, as you identified, and as the operator says, really is the big winner there. Okay, on to Thursday, Gio. You had your friend and our friend, Mr. Mike Harris, here, didn't you? Let's not worry about the technology. What about the jokes? Did you get many? Oh,
he cracked an old joke. I know Joe, that's recording the podcast today, had the pleasure to hear it. I'd heard it before. It's a bit rude for the podcast, unfortunately. But Mike, I'm sure will.
Joe, is it funny? He's shrugging his shoulders.
But no, nice to see him. He's back off furlough now, and we've just done some technical corners on their power chuck range. So they're well renowned for their scroll chucks, but they've not really been renowned for their power chuck range. And they've got a real nice new product, the quick change chuck, that also lends itself to automation. So you can actually automate setups on a lathe.
So is it a little bit like other quick change chucks where
the master base jaw comes out with the actual jaw. Yeah. So the connections on the diameter of the chuck has got a socket that the robot can change the jaw with. So it's quite unique, really. There's other manufacturers that do quick change chucks, but not necessarily. They lend themselves to automation and changing setups overnight. So with a little bit of kind of playing with the robot and getting the right connection, the robot could actually change the jaws overnight and change the setup.
What's he been doing for a year on furlough?
I don't know. That's a good question, Paul.
Gio, whose jokes are better, Mike's or Paul's?
Sorry?
Whose jokes are better, Mike's or Paul's?
I've got to go with you, Paul, and that is
I know whether that's
sorry, Mike.
Because maybe he's the MD of the company you work for. I like your
Mike's are rather bad. I'm sorry, Mike.
They're like Carver's. If you've never spent a day with Carver, he is the classic joke man. And before we talk about where we're going to be next week, I just wanted to touch on a couple of news stories that have been on the website this week. That's what we also do in this show. We talk about some of the videos that have been released. In fact, there's been 25 new videos on the MTD website this week. There's been quite a focus on cutting tools on the news, but on the video side, there's been videos from you, Lindsay, that you did with Eric at Dugard on the Kitamura 5-axis machine, which has gone exceptionally well.
The Medi Centre. Yeah.
I mean, you did a great job on the video, but I have to say that machine really is so exciting for Dugard. Really small, compact 5-axis machine.
Tiny machine.
You know, people do want small machines. They want economical, small, fast machines that are capable of, you know, even if they, and I'm not suggesting the Kitamura can't, because it's still a box guideway machine, so it can take some big cuts, but machining strategies these days do help with, you know, metal removal, especially on fast machines.
To add to that as well, the first comment underneath was someone who commented who said, well, how much is it?
Yeah.
So straight off, there's interest. Also, it's called MediCentre, but they don't want to pigeonhole themselves into just the medical sector.
I don't think they need to, no. And they shouldn't, because that machine, it's in stock. It will not be there for long. I can guarantee. I wouldn't be surprised if it's. In fact, I'm going to Dugard on the 26th of May. I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be sold by then. We also got some good videos.
Could I just give my friend a call out who started at Dugard's, David Rawson. So well done. He's loving it. He's really enjoying it. I think he's also sold a few machines already. So well done.
Well, what a range to be able to offer the Schmeck, which they're carrying in stock there.
There are lots of stock. Big
chucking machines as well. Yeah. Also the Kitamuras, amongst then their other sort of flagship Dugard VMCs and stuff. So I'm sure David will do.
He's really loving it.
David will do well.
Yeah, good machine tool range.
Also videos that we had on the website come from companies like Metal Light, where Chloe and I looked at the integration of a Euroa system on a Quasar machine, done exceptionally well. Some videos from Matsura that we did at RNG Precision have done really well as well. So
thousands of views.
It's been a good week on the channel. It's a good week for manufacturing as well, as we still hear that companies are very busy. On the tooling front, we've got new products from ITC. On the tapping side, Goering's new parting system, and on the machine side, the launch of a new Fanuc Robo Cut machine, which is all news stories on the website, plus a lot more. 25 new videos and probably more news stories than that as well. So plenty to see if you visit MTDCNC.com. There was also a new 5-axis machine from Takumi. Did you see that?
Yes, I've seen that.
Another small footprint.
I mean, they're doing so well. They're doing so well, and I think that they will make big inroads in the UK market for sure. I think that not only they look a lovely machine, but they've got some real nice USPs.
They have.
And the range from Groupus Parpus that Leader CNC Technologies also offer, specific range.
From where?
Groupus Parpus.
Bless you.
True.
So, on to next week. Now, just going to skip through the diary because time is against us a little bit. I know on Monday, Lindsay, you're out with Colin. You're going to Caffin Engineering. Oh, that's in Oxford. Yeah,
I thought that would be Welsh for some reason.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah.
PSL got to spend a day with Colin.
Got to spend a day with Colin, unfortunately. Yeah. No, I completely concur with your thoughts on that. Having spent many a day with him. I think you're here, Gio, on Monday. We've got a podcast for CG Tech. How well are these podcasts going at the moment? Pretty much everyone we speak to is not only listening, but they want to participate as well, which, you know.
I think they're averaging now around 5,000 listens per podcast across all platforms, which is astonishing, really. And that's not just in the UK, that's around the world. So they're definitely gaining traction, and it's definitely a new format that seems to...
The trouble is, it's not new. You asked Willie, who was doing podcasts in 2002.
Yeah.
You know, well, no, he wasn't. He was probably...
They seem to be taking off again, though, Paul, don't they? I don't
it's
know.
When people have time in the car, and I think it's more of a relaxed situation when you've got a podcast. So you're actually you're there and want to listen to the content. And I think that's, you know, when it's a video, you kind of only got a really small window of opportunity, but a podcast is a totally different experience when you're listening to a form of media, definitely.
Another thing is what I found as well with the podcast is some people may prefer to do a podcast than actually to be in front of camera, and they can open up more, and it also gives them the opportunity to speak about their subject in a lot more depth.
You're not trying to cram in.
Yeah, and that it's a lot more relaxed for them. They can really you can really deep dive into subjects, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Sorry to cut across with you. CG Tech, you're here, I think, doing some technical corners as well as a podcast for CG Tech. For those that don't know, verification software. Great product. Did a live event. Lindsay, you and Mark did a live event a few weeks ago. Well received, and there'll be some good, I'm sure, technical stories coming from them. Walter GB, we also have a day filming there. Some machining demos, which is on Tuesday. Wednesday, more technical corners here. MSC have got a new product which Colin keeps telling us about in the podcast, yet he doesn't tell us what it is. So you'll be this time next week, if you tune in, you'll be able to find out what that product is, because we've got MSC here in the studio. You're at Motorsport CNC next Wednesday,
that
Lindsay.
Sounds exciting.
What do you think they make?
Cutlery.
Well, actually, I don't know what they make. You'll find out when you get there. But they've just bought another. It's another Herco story. Bought another Herco machine. Their first kind of venture into CNC, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So that will make a good visit. And I think, as I already said here, we've got the podcast with MSC and plenty of other stuff going on. So that's been it for this week's podcast. Now, don't forget.
Can we just have a joke off Mike? Can we just hear a Mike joke?
Oh, it's too rude, Lindsay. I can't even begin to.
One at the end.
I have actually heard it, and to be honest, it's rude, two, it's poor.
Like yours.
Yeah, exactly. So there is absolutely no point.
Mike, you'll
whatsoever.
have to tell it me.
So brilliant for you guys to join me. Thank you very much for coming here today, and for the listeners. Thanks for listening. And if you want to shout out during the show, then please let us know on whichever channel or platform that you're listening to this on, because you can also watch this on YouTube, which is something we do on this Friday on the Road podcast with MTDCNC. Look forward to speaking again and doing this again this time next week. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to the MTD podcast. If you found value in this episode, please subscribe and leave a rating and review. Find more episodes on mtdcnc.com.